Welcome, students and teachers, to Ohio Energy Project's Career in Energy. Today, we have a fantastic panel of students that are all in engineering from The Ohio State University. So a couple housekeeping tips before we get started. If you are watching on Zoom, if you could put your questions and answers or your questions in the Q&A box rather than the chat. That's the Q&A box and not the chat. If you are watching on YouTube, you can use the chat box there. So just to get things started, if you could put what school you are watching from, we would love to see who is watching live with us today. While you're doing that, I would like to thank our funding partner for this program, American Electric Power Foundation. And specifically today, our hosts are the Sustainability Institute at Ohio State and also NG. So welcome Latonia High School as well as Westerville South High School, fantastic. We've got Endeavor Elementary in Lakota. We've got some third graders from Westwood Elementary in Dayton. We are glad to see you all. So welcome. We are glad to have you participating. So I'm going to start and kick it off with Matt. Matt is from the Sustainability Institute, so he is going to welcome you on behalf of Ohio State. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Sue. Welcome, everyone. Super excited that you're all here and joining us today to discuss engineering opportunities at Ohio State. Very excited to see such a wide range of students tuning in. I'm really excited because we have a phenomenal group of students here today, engineering students, to speak with you about their experiences at Ohio State and what opportunities exist for interested students. As Sue mentioned, my name is Matt Griffin. I work on education and learning initiatives with the Sustainability Institute. And what that really means is that at the Sustainability Institute, we're trying to figure out how do we move Ohio State as a whole closer towards a truly sustainable future. So we look at the resources we use, we look at where we're focusing our research potential, we look at how we talk about recycling on campus. We look at all these different things and ask ourselves, how can we make improvements to live and work at a truly sustainable university? So super excited that you're all here. I'll be jumping back in at the end to talk a little bit more about some opportunities at Ohio State, but I definitely want to save as much time as possible for our fantastic panel of students who are coming from a wide range of majors, backgrounds, and experiences to talk with you all. So thank you so much for being here. Ohio State welcomes you, and we hope to see you in the future. Go Bucks.
Thank you, Matt. While Matt was sharing, I'd like to welcome New Albany High School and also Miss Jones's class from the Cleveland area. So we've got the state well represented here. All right, we're gonna, before we get to our panelists, we're going to show a short video from the College of Engineering at Ohio State.
Hi, I'm Vic.
And I'm Jillian.
And we're Buckeye Engineers.
If you're watching, you're probably trying to decide where to go to school.
And you're probably thinking about studying engineering. That's a good idea.
All engineers are smart, and all colleges of engineering help prepare smart engineers to improve our world.
While there are many things that make the Ohio State's College of Engineering the coolest,
and we might be a little biased,
the Ohio State student experience really sets us apart.
You may have already taken a tour of our beautiful campus, but we're going to take you to a few places you likely didn't have time to see.
Just a few places where Buckeye engineers learn while doing. I'm standing here in the Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering and Chemistry building. It's definitely a bit of a mouthful, so we call it CBEC for short, and it's definitely something to see. Like this research lab right here, where Dr. Jessica Winter and her team of students are working on groundbreaking cancer research, using nanotechnology to help diagnose and treat cancer more effectively than ever before. Can Buckeye engineers change the world? Yeah.
We're here at the Center for Automotive Research, more specifically the Motorsports Student Project Building. There are 6 teams here at Ohio State, all student-driven, that design, build, test, and even race their own vehicles, including the Venturi Buckeye Bullet and the Buckeye Current motorcycle. And behind me, the defending national champion Eco Car 3 team is redesigning the 2016 Chevrolet Camaro to reduce its impact on the environment, but maintain that muscle car performance and appeal. Company recruiters love this type of hands-on experience.
The Electroscience Lab is one of the world's largest radio frequency and optics research labs in the entire world, advancing technology in satellites, wireless communication, ground-penetrating radar, wearable sensors, and medical technology. Over 100 graduate and undergraduate students collaborate and conduct research here at the ESL.
Hey, you found me. I'm presenting my research on my unmanned combat aerial vehicle design at Ohio State's annual Denman Undergraduate Research Forum. It's hosted here at the Recreation and Physical Activity Center, where students at Ohio State can do yoga, swim, work out, lift, and play all day. But it's just as important to exercise your brain as it is your body.
Ever feel like balancing school, friends, sports is a pain in the back? Well, here at the Spine Research Institute, faculty and students think about back-related injuries every single day. A perfect example of how engineers from a variety of different disciplines collaborate with Ohio State's medical experts in the prevention and treatment of spine-related disorders, a place where undergraduate students are involved every day.
By the time you're a senior, you will have spent a lot of time working on team projects in high-tech spaces like this. We're in the college's 3D printing and prototyping lab, where capstone projects, student inventions, and design solutions literally take shape. At Ohio State, you can dream it and then build it.
Pretty cool, huh?
Believe us, this is just the tip of the Buckeye. There are so many places, labs, staff, faculty, and fellow students that will help you realize your potential.
And help you discover how you can change the world. OH?
IO.
Well, that gave you an overview of what happens at Ohio State, but we are going to hear directly from some students. But I want to do one final shout out. Welcome to Mr. Wetta's class at Walnut Springs. I am a former Walnut Springs student myself. So welcome. We are glad that you're here. All right, we are going to kick it off with our panelists, and we are first going to hear from Jessica. Oh, before we get to there, just let me remind you to put your questions, if you're on Zoom, in the Q&A box. And if you have questions for a specific panelist, if you could put their name, or if you're interested in a particular discipline that is specific, we'll answer some questions right away, and then we'll also have a Q&A session at the end. So we are going to start with Jessica. She is an industrial and systems engineering student that is working. She's completing both her bachelor's and starting her master's at the same time, and she is from Pickerington, Ohio. So Jessica, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm so thankful to be here today and can't wait to talk to you all. So a little bit about what an industrial and systems engineer does. We're kind of like a business math degree all in one. So if you really like business, but you also like the technical side of math and science, definitely start looking into an industrial and systems engineering degree. You get to do a lot in operations, supply chain and logistics, sourcing. So it's really fun. And if you have a strong connection to math like I do, then you still get to flex that muscle while you're here at Ohio State. So it's been a great opportunity here. Some other things that I've been involved in. I did take a service learning trip to Ghana. So you might see some photos later on about that. We did lots of different engineering projects while we were there revolving around energy. We looked at some more mechanical engineering style projects, so it was really great. And then another thing that I got to do while I was at Ohio State was I interned for a company called Engie and got to do a lot of research looking into how Ohio State uses their energy and what our carbon footprint looks like.
Fantastic, Jessica. Could you think back, since you're starting your second engineering degree at Ohio State, what is something that you wish you knew as a freshman that you know now?
So I think there's a lot that you can do at Ohio State. And it's actually difficult to get to do everything you want because there's so many opportunities. So don't be afraid to just kind of explore and try new things. I definitely didn't think I would be doing an internship in energy when I first started out here. I thought I was going to be more food focused, which I have gotten to do stuff with that. And I know some of our other panelists will get to talk a little bit about their research doing that, but be willing to try a lot of things. I was a little bit scared because college is a lot and you're going to meet a lot of people and you're going to have lots of classes to try to fit in. But honestly, just try whatever you're interested in and don't be afraid to do lots of new things that you've never even heard about before.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. If you've got questions for Jessica, you can put those in the Q&A or in the YouTube chat, and we'll get back to her at the end. All right, I would like to next introduce Jackson. Jackson is a junior mechanical engineering major, and he is from Delaware, Ohio. So Jackson, you're up.
Hi guys, thank you for having me. So like Sue said, my name is Jackson. I am from Delaware, Ohio, and I'm studying mechanical engineering here at Ohio State. I definitely came into college expecting mechanical engineering to be mostly just cars. If you think of machines, that's what mechanical engineering really designs and gets after. And so I came in with that focus. And then after coming here, I realized that mechanical engineering is a lot more broad than I expected. It's a general statement, but I'd say that about everything involves mechanical engineering, anything that moves at least. So you can think of like cars or trains or airplanes or rockets, but then also things like factories and machines. And so after coming to Ohio State, I realized that there's a lot more opportunities than maybe I expected. Since becoming a student, I have been involved in the Ohio State Thermal Materials Laboratory. So it's a research lab that's studying properties of metals. Most of my research includes mounting really small things. So putting metals, connecting them under a microscope using tweezers, which is really fun. I like the opportunity that I've had to get hands-on learning. You can see in the pictures on the left is one of my mountings of the samples. So it's really, really small compared to that pin, but it's something that I have learned I like doing. I think that the ability to like actually use your hands and work through problems is a great way that I learn. And so if you are interested in that, I would say that there's plenty of opportunities here at Ohio State to pursue that.
Hey, Jackson, could you give us an example of your research project? What would be a real world application that our students participating might understand?
Yes, so I am specifically studying how things like electricity are related to things like pressure or the speed of things moving. And so one unique opportunity that can come from my research is if you have an electrical current moving, you can produce velocity from it or movement. And so if you have maybe a car moving, from that car moving, the movement can create electrical current, which can create voltage or maybe something that you'd use to power another object.
So what type of companies might you work for in the future?
There's
if you stayed in this field.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest in things like aerospace, since aerospace has to use a certain kind of energy and they produce another energy, but a lot of it's very broad in the sense that it's looking at how energy can change and be used. And so anything that you would kind of expect for or what would expect to use energy is maybe a place that this could be applied.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing. If we get more questions, we will come back to you at the end. All right, we're going to move on to Carrie. Carrie got her undergrad at Ohio State in electrical engineering, and she is continuing there, working on her master's degree. And Carrie is from Kettering, Ohio.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. So like Sue mentioned, I'm getting my master's in electrical engineering. Electrical engineering is also a pretty broad field that you can work in. So my specialization in both my bachelor's and my master's has been sustainable energy and power systems. So this is learning about anything you can think of dealing with like renewable energy or power transmission. So I've learned about solar energy, wind energy, And then my specific interest is in electric motors or high voltage batteries, specifically related to the automotive industry. And using that information or using that knowledge from that field to help create more sustainable transportation for the world. When I got to Ohio State, I knew I wanted to continue pursuing my interest in automotive and then also wanted to get involved with the project team on campus. So I got involved with the EcoCar team, which was mentioned in the video and then also can be seen on the pictures. So I've been involved with that since a freshman. So I got to help out with the Camaro that was shown in the video. And then right now we're actually working on a Chevrolet Blazer. So the overall goal of that is to turn a conventional vehicle into a hybrid electric vehicle over 4 years. So everything is student built, student designed, and we try to increase the overall fuel economy and sustainability of the vehicle from a conventional stock vehicle. So yeah, I'm engineering manager on the team right now. So I've gotten a lot of hands-on experiences, and those hands-on experiences has also helped lead me to a couple of internships and also a full-time position after graduation. So I've gotten to work at Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, I've gotten to work at Ford, and I'm actually going to work for General Motors for full-time. So thanks to all of my opportunities I've gotten from Ohio State and from EcoCar, I've definitely had a lot of full-time experience and internship experiences.
Thanks, Carrie. We've got a question from Miss Weeks' class in Dayton. She says, is the work that you're doing, is it really challenging? What's maybe the most challenging part of what you do?
Yeah, so it's definitely very challenging, but it's definitely something that I'm interested in, and a lot of people that I work with are super interested in. So it's coming up with a lot of new technologies that aren't necessarily on the market yet. So we're doing a lot of the hands-on research, and we get to work with our sponsors and with the companies that we're working with. So we do get a lot of help from full-time positions, but it's really cool as a college student getting to do that actual hands-on work ahead of time before actually going into full-time and kind of getting to expand our knowledge. But it's definitely hard, but it's a lot of fun, and we all work together and help come up with solutions. So.
And I know a little bit about the EcoCar team. Can you take a minute to brag about yourself and the success that you've had?
Yeah, we have had a lot of success on EcoCar. So Ohio State has been a part of these competitions for over 20 years now, but we've definitely succeeded in the past 10 years. So ever since I've been on the team, we've actually been the national championships. So we compete against 11 other universities across America. And for the past 6 years, we've come in first place, which has been pretty exciting to be a part of a national championship team. We definitely dedicate a lot of work. So it's cool to see our work honored with a first place prize. So.
Fantastic. Carrie, it looks like there is a question coming, but I think they've just got your name and not the question from Mr. Wetta's class. So we'll come back to you if we get the rest of the question there when we get to the end. So Ohio State is just not a national winning football school. It's a national winning EcoCar school too. So congratulations. All right. Our next panelist is Diego, and he is working on his PhD in civil environmental engineering. And Diego is actually coming to us all the way from Bogota, Colombia today. So welcome, Diego.
Thank you, Sue. And in fact, I am still here in Colombia, so I hope I can join you in the next couple of months. Okay, I am a first year civil and environmental engineering student in the PhD program, but my background is in mechanical engineering. I did my undergrad here in Colombia, and I also did a master's degree in the Melbourne University in Australia. Now I am working in a multidisciplinary team in Ohio State, trying to focusing in analyzing energy systems from an integrated point of view. That's not focusing only in the technical aspects of energy technologies, but also impacts in society and also environmental aspects from the implementation of energy technologies.
Excellent. So when you finished your schooling, what do you hope to do with your degrees?
Okay, I would like to come back to Colombia and try to work for the public sector. I would like that. I have previously worked for the private industry. I worked for a couple of years for General Electric, but I am I think I am turning a little bit my career. As I said before, I was previously mostly interested in the technical aspects of the energy, but now I am trying to have a broader view, and that is applicable in, for example, policy design, and that's something interesting I could apply here in Colombia.
Okay. Well, thank you, Diego. All right. Remember, students, you can post your questions in the Q&A on Zoom, or back on, if you're on YouTube, you can do that in the chat window. So Kate, would you talk a little bit about your electrical and computer engineering programs? And Kate is from Dublin, Ohio, in Central Ohio.
Yeah, sure. So I'm currently in graduate school studying electrical and computer engineering, which Carrie explained a little bit. I have the same specialization as Carrie, focusing on sustainable energy and power systems. So I did my bachelor's in chemical engineering at OSU as well. During that time, I also participated on the biomolecular design team, which was an interdisciplinary team where we took a process called DNA origami. We picked a problem, tried to create a structure to solve that problem, and then presented it at a conference at the end of the year. And I also participated in undergraduate research in a clean energy lab in the chemical engineering department, where we extracted fuels from different molecules and made like coal energy production cleaner, like that kind of a thing. Currently I'm participating in the empowerment program, which is another like interdisciplinary program focused around sustainable energy and creating a more interdisciplinary approach to those large problems. So.
Excellent. One question came in that, and I think in your research that you're doing, what happens when something doesn't work as expected, or maybe it doesn't work, you don't have the anticipated results? The exact question is, what happens when you and your colleagues mess up? So do you want to speak to that, on what it's like when that happens in the engineering process?
Yeah, of course. I think that's an inherent thing that just comes with research. It's a very nonlinear process. It's almost cyclical. You take 2 steps forward and then a few steps back every time. So when something doesn't go as expected, you have to really step back and think about, you know, the theory behind everything, what could have actually happened. Is this what is supposed to happen, or did we anticipate the wrong thing? And just try to learn from that. Maybe repeat it to see if the same thing happens again, take a different approach.
So it's that always trying something new, always trying to solve the problem that you may not have initially known you had when you started with.
Yeah, there's always extra problems.
New problems always come up. Well, thanks for sharing, Kate. All right, we are going to go next to Andrew. Andrew is a mechanical engineering student, and he is from, oh shoot, I'm gonna mess up, Twinsburg. So the Cleveland area, is that Cleveland area? All right, thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, that's the Cleveland area. So as you said, I'm a 4th-year undergraduate student majoring in mechanical engineering and minoring in horticulture. Like Jackson mentioned earlier, mechanical engineering is very broad, and what I'd like to do in the future is actually apply mechanical engineering to agriculture. I'm currently in classes working with hydroponics and controlled environment agriculture. In the future, that's something that I really wanted to do. And another thing that I'm working on here at OSU is small-scale sustainable agriculture through the OSU Student Farm. I work with a team of students. The project is student-led. And last summer I worked there we really just work on growing as much fruit as possible in a very sustainable fashion, and then distribute it to local communities and to students actually through the Buckeye Fruit Alliance. So that's a project I've had a lot of fun on, and actually applying my engineering skills to something that's not typically associated with engineering.
Excellent. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the student farm and opportunities for Ohio State students? That's something I didn't know was part of Ohio State. I knew agriculture was a big part of campus, but can you tell us a little bit more about the student farm? Yeah,
the student farm is still kind of new. It's actually a place where students can be employed. So I'm one of 4 employees currently working at the OSU Student Farm. And then we have a related org that consists of a lot of volunteers and members of the community who just come out and help us out there. Yeah, do you have anything else?
No, great. Thanks for sharing a little bit more about that. Andrew, could you talk a little bit and maybe think back to your freshman and sophomore days? What is kind of a freshman level experience like as an engineering student? What was somebody that's interested in engineering, what could they expect as far as your coursework those first year or two?
Freshman year was actually a lot of fun. It was also very hard, but I really enjoyed it. Freshman year, we did a lot of fun projects like the robot project, which is in one of my pictures. That was the second semester of freshman year. We worked on a team of 4 students building a robot to navigate a course, which to me, that was kind of just like working with a bunch of other students on like a fun little project. It was more like a game to me. And then also we did a lot of learning how to program freshman year. We actually programmed video games my first semester, and that was a really fun project as well. First semester was very hard, but that's a given in college, especially with the adjustment from high school to college.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing. All right, keep posting your questions. I see that several have come in. So here soon we're going to kind of open it up and you'll be able to ask panelists any questions. But we're going to wrap up our panel with Matt, and he's going to share a little bit about his own experience at Ohio State, as well as some opportunities for engineering students on campus.
Yeah, thank you. It was amazing to hear from all our students and hearing about their experiences that were so varied, and they're all working in such interesting areas. So always great to hear more about what our students are doing. But yeah, I myself am an alum of the university. So I graduated in 2019 with a degree in environment, economy, development, and sustainability. And that's really the sustainability focused degree here at the university. So I had the opportunity to, through my courses, learn a lot more about what it takes to create a sustainable society and all the skills that we're going to need. And a big part of what it's going to take to make things sustainable and make things environmentally friendly in the future, it's going to take a lot of engineering know-how. So it's great that we have so many talented students who are passionate about finding these engineering solutions to these complicated problems that we're facing. As you've heard, there's really a limitless number of opportunities for students here at Ohio State. I will say some highlights is if you're interested in going around the world and studying abroad, we have a number of sustainability and engineering focused study abroad opportunities here at Ohio State. And we have a lot of students who participate in that. This year, unfortunately, had to be canceled, but I know we're really looking forward to hopefully next year when we're going to be able to restart those programs. Other things, as you heard from some of our students, is we have a lot of great student organizations on campus. So just like I'm sure many of you are in clubs now, we have a lot of clubs at Ohio State, and many of them are focused on majors. So if you're an engineering student who wants to connect with other engineering students, we have a ton of clubs like that on campus. We have some that are specifically looking at sustainability engineering. So we have Engineers for a Sustainable World, which you can join, and many other groups on campus that allow for students to take what they're learning in the classroom and figure out how do we apply this to the problems we're seeing in our day-to-day lives. In addition to study abroad and these clubs, we also have a number of living organizations that you can join, living and learning organizations. So we have a program here at Ohio State called the Scholars Program, and that allows for you to live with other students in similar programs as yourself and really create a sense of community and engage in some out of the classroom learning experiences. So we have some scholars groups that are focused for engineering students. And so if you're thinking about coming to Ohio State, you can apply to join that community and know that you'll be living with students who are taking similar classes as you and going through similar experiences. In addition to scholars, we also have something called learning communities. And so we have a number of learning communities on campus. As Jessica mentioned, I oversee one called the Sustains Learning Community, which is a great way for students who really are passionate about sustainability to come together and learn together. And so through that program, we bring in speakers, we go on trips around Ohio and also to DC and Chicago, and our students engage in projects. They design their own sustainability projects that are aimed at improving life on campus. And then we help the students really implement those projects. So Jessica didn't mention it, but she was part of a project working with an aquaponics system. And so she helps create an indoor garden that can grow plants. And it's a really amazing project that's continued for a number of years. And we've also seen that group of students create a composting initiative in Scott. So instead of people throwing away their food waste, now students who live in that dorm that Sustains is in can use this composting program to help divert waste from going to the landfill. So there's really a wide number of opportunities for students here. If you're ever interested in learning more, you can go to the Sustainability Institute website. It's si.osu.edu. And you can find myself in the staff and faculty page, and you can get in contact with me, or you can go and check out some of the information that we have there. So that's si.osu.edu. And I encourage you to go there and check it out. But yeah, please, if you have more questions, I can see some coming in, but continue to ask questions of these great students. We have, this is just a snapshot of the many, many talented students we have here at Ohio State, but it's great that so many are willing to kind of help foster in the next generation of engineering students. And so really glad, thank you to all the students who shared today, and please ask away any questions that you have about engineering and just life here at OSU. Thanks, Sue.
Fantastic. All right, keep those questions coming in. I'm going to ask all of our panelists to unmute because there are several questions, specific questions. But this first one is going to be for the women on our panel. So Jessica, Carrie, and Kate. Engineering stereotypes are more, there's more men in those careers. Can you speak to what it's like to be a woman in engineering and what opportunities or challenges are for you? So Carrie, I see you're already unmuted. Do you want to start, and then we'll go to Jessica and end with Kate?
Yeah, sure. So Ohio State, so engineering is definitely kind of like a male-dominated industry, but I think if you have a passion for it, there should be nothing standing in your way for success. Ohio State definitely offers a lot of different opportunities for women in engineering specifically. So we have the Society of Women in Engineers, and then we also have the Women in Engineering Society. So they both provide different opportunities for women in engineering to kind of get together. They partner us with, or some of the different opportunities they offer is partnering us with industry, people within industry who are also women in engineering, and kind of help create like a mentoring relationship. But yeah, I think Ohio State has been great. I think we definitely have a lot of women within the engineering program, and they definitely offer a lot of different opportunities for us to get involved and kind of cohabitate with each other and really learn from each other. So.
Thanks. All right, Jessica.
Yeah, so I definitely echo what Carrie just said. I think another thing is some of my best friends are the women I've met in the engineering program because there aren't quite as many of us. We've done a really good job of like connecting, and when we meet in class, we'll like go grab lunch and things like that. And sometimes it feels a little bit lonely being like one of the few girls in the classroom, but you become really good friends with not just the women. Obviously, you're going to make lots of friends with the men in the department, but the girls tend to gravitate towards each other, and it's really nice to make all those friends and kind of talk about what our experience has been in a male-dominated field. That being said, it's definitely growing to be more equal. You can even see like look up the numbers for College of Engineering and see what the diversity looked like maybe 10 years ago versus now, and there are so many more women, especially in my field. It's not 50-50, but it's definitely getting closer. And then on top of that, I think kind of what Carrie was saying about like a mentorship program, seeing those women in their field being really successful and having them guide you and talk about like the hurdles they had to get through and the things that you can do to be successful as a woman in engineering, which may or may not be different than the experiences that men have, really helped me through my career at Ohio State.
Fantastic. Kate, do you have anything you would like to add?
They did a great job of covering most of it. I also have made really great friends with like the other women in my engineering classes, having like, I don't know, those people to like turn to, I guess. And And then women in faculty positions in the College of Engineering are also like great to look to and like find that mentorship in. I know that they've been running some programs like outside of class where they'll bring in women from industry and talk about their experiences. So.
Great, thanks for sharing. All right, Jackson, the next question is from you. This is from Marcus. He is a 4th grader. He wants to know, you talked about that mechanical engineering deals with machines that move. But is there a way to make machines more friendly for the environment that they don't cause? I'm guessing he's asking that they don't cause as much either pollution or climate change or things like that.
Yeah, so there's a ton of research that's going into understanding why the machines that we have produce things like carbon dioxide and chemicals that maybe don't support sustaining the environment. And I think it seems like a lot of people on this panel are involved in some sort of research that goes to that. I think in general, our understanding of what, not just specifically cars, but what engines can do to the environment is somewhat new. And so it's been cool that there's a lot of push in undergraduate studies and graduate studies, students interested in finding new ways to be able to produce the same results. So to still have a car be able to run, or to still have an airplane be able to fly, but without maybe giving the negative side effects coming from our traditional methods of mechanics.
Great, thanks for your response. All right, the next question is for Diego. This is from Mr. Wetta's class. And the question is, what do you think is going to be the electrical energy source of the future? And they specifically mention nuclear, wind, solar, hydro.
I think that most energy professionals would agree that there is no single formula or a single type of energy that will dominate the future. There are many new ways of producing electrical power, and it also depends on where, on the context of your country, for example. I would say that definitely there will be a lot of wind and solar photovoltaic energy in the future, and it is already rising up from the last 10 years. I think it has just boosted. But there will always be a need for other types of solutions. For example, better use of energy, not only improving or having more efficient ways to produce energy, but also to use it.
Fantastic. Thanks for responding to that question. This question wasn't directed to anyone specifically, so feel free for anybody to jump in, and we can have several of you if you have comments. But the question is, how important, and this came from YouTube, how important are internships or co-ops?
I could probably speak to this. I've had, I think, 4 internships over my college career. They're definitely super important because a lot of industry, like companies, when you're looking for full-time work, they want you to have experience. So experience outside of classes. So I would definitely suggest having at least 1 internship throughout your college career, especially for engineering. It could be different for different majors. But then also getting involved as well. So getting involved with a project team or something on campus, that also shows that you are using your knowledge from classes and then getting that hands-on experience outside and actually using that knowledge for a hands-on project. So definitely either get involved or do an internship is, getting involved or doing an internship is pretty important when looking for a full-time position.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with Carrie. I think it's a little different if you plan to do research or maybe get like a master's or a PhD. You might not need to spend quite as much time getting an internship. But I know for myself, not only are companies excited about the internships I've had, but it helped me figure out what I want to do after college. So I interned in a company that focuses on food. I interned in a company that focuses on cars. I interned with an energy company, and like all those things kind of helped me narrow down to like, what do I actually enjoy? What is the industry like? What are the people like? So it'll be honestly beneficial to both you as a person figuring yourself out, but also for a company to look at you and see what experiences you had. That being said, I know it can be scary to think about like going and doing job interviews and things like that, but Ohio State does a really great job of preparing you and helping you with materials to practice for those interviews and write a resume and figure out like, what is that going to look like and how can you be successful? So don't be scared about that.
All right, we did get a non-engineering question. So feel free to jump in. But the question was, when you're not studying or doing research, what are some fun things to do on campus? Why is Ohio State a great school to attend?
I can speak up first. So when I'm not busy, me and some of my friends, we go rock climbing. OSU has a like indoor climbing gym, which I found out when I came to college they had. And so for the past few years, I'm pretty consistent in going with my friends. And it's cool because it's I feel like it's an opportunity that I might not have had at other schools. I think Ohio State's recreational sports have a lot of diversity and options, from swimming to things like racquetball to basketball, a bunch of fields that you can play sports on. And so one of the things that I think I enjoy the most outside of the class is just taking advantage of these recreational activities. And for me specifically, things like rock climbing, which I had never done until coming to college. And now that I'm here and OSU offers the opportunities to do so, I'm pretty happy and set.
Thanks, Jackson. Anybody else want to share some of their favorite non-engineering?
Yeah, Ohio State hosts a lot of different events for their students. So the Student Activities Board, OUAB, they host a lot of different events aimed at all different types of interests. So they have like different concerts throughout the year. They do like movie nights on Fridays. And they bring in different speakers, so different celebrities and stuff to come to speak to students. So that's definitely something fun to get involved with. They offer so many different things. Like you can definitely find something that you're interested in that they're having an event for somewhere on campus. So Ohio State definitely does a great job with hosting events and stuff.
Thanks, Carrie. Anybody else have anything they want to share? We'll take one more. Go, Jessica.
I was just going to say, so I lived in the dorm for 3 years. I was a student and then an RA for 2 years. And my friends and I that I lived with loved to go explore Columbus. So I know when you look at lots of different schools, they're in lots of locations, and Ohio State is so well located because you have Clintonville and downtown and Short North. And so making friends with people in your dorms and then going and exploring the city, which I know most of the people are from Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, it sounds like. So you may have explored some of Columbus, but you just get so much more time to see the city and really experience it and like go to different concerts and, well, not during COVID, but after COVID, hopefully we get to go to concerts and restaurants, art galleries, COSI. So there's just a lot to do in Columbus that had I picked a different, like smaller school or a school not in a city, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to explore. So being centrally located in a city was a big deal for me.
Thanks, Jessica. All right, I'm gonna ask the panelists all to answer one question, but we've also got a question for Matt. So I'll ask the panelists the question and give you a minute to think about it while Matt answers the next question. But what would you tell middle or high school students to prepare for a college engineering degree in one sentence? So think on that for a minute. Matt, the question for you is, what advice would you give to a student interested in attending Ohio State as an engineering student?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would really encourage them to, while they're in high school or middle school or wherever they're at, really try to get involved with, some engineering opportunities if they have them at their school, or just, go on YouTube and see what engineers are engaging in and really try to figure out what areas are you really passionate about. Because the more you can figure out, what areas you want to explore while at OSU, the better you'll be able to really dive deep into them while you're here. The other thing I'll say is, obviously, as our students have shown here, academics are pretty important. So it's really important to be making sure that you're working hard in school and trying to figure out, how can you prioritize your studies in a mix of everything else. But what I'll say too is that at Ohio State, we do look at more than just grades when we accept students. So, it's great if you have a really high GPA, but if that's all you did at, before coming to Ohio State, then, maybe we would have liked it if you had been involved in sports or involved in clubs. We really like to see students who are showing that they're passionate about a variety of things and really engaging in a variety of areas, because, we want students who are more than just students. We want students who are engaged citizens, who are passionate, researchers, who are looking to improve the way we use energy. So, grades are important, but so are getting involved in a variety of ways. And then the other thing I'll say is, be reaching out to current students, ask them about what they did in high school, ask them about what they're doing now, and just really learn about what opportunities exist and see if you can see yourself doing the same thing. So would definitely encourage you to, use the panel of students we have here, or there's a lot of Ohio State visit days that we organize. And so they're not just for seniors or people who are graduating. So definitely be reaching out and seeing what you can learn about our school.
Thanks, Matt. All right, let's go around one more time real quick. And panelists, you can give your one sentence advice to middle or high school students. So Jessica, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I would say try everything you can and don't be afraid to fail.
Fantastic advice. Jackson.
I think I'd say take advantage of the high school classes you're in.
Perfect. Carrie.
Yes, I'd say start thinking about kind of what you're interested in and what you want to do for a future job.
All right, Diego.
I loved Jessica's answer, but I would say be prepared to fail and enjoy the process, enjoy the whole process. It's amazing.
Great, thank you. And Kate?
I'm just gonna be generic and say, keep asking questions.
Excellent, yes. All right, and Andrew?
I'd say college is the time for exploration, so don't be afraid to try new things and meet new people.
Perfect. Thank you all so much for sharing your experiences, sharing what you're doing on campus, all the exciting projects and research that you're working on. And we look forward in the future to seeing great things that you all are doing. So thank you for being part of our panel. Thanks also to the students and teachers around Ohio that have participated in our panel today. We appreciate you being part of this. The recording will be available soon following the end of the webinar. It will be posted at the same link on YouTube, so that will be there. We do have some upcoming panels and virtual field trips. So coming up in March, we have a Women in Energy panel. In April, we have a diversity and minorities in energy, as well as a virtual field trip on utility tree trimming. And then at the beginning of May, we have a virtual field trip where we're going to be talking about solar panel installation. So be watching for information and sign up for that. So thank you all, panelists. Thank you for participating. Students and teachers, thank you for participating. And no one talked about Ohio State football, one sentence, but we'll just end by saying OH. Thanks for coming.